everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here with another top 5 list. Yes, it's that time of the week again, so let's get into this week's top 5 list. Now, of course, if you haven't noticed, this week is going to be a very Dragon Ball Super heavy week for me. I just put out my Dragon Ball Super review, which I definitely suggest you check it out. Now, of course, I have a top 5 ready for you to check out, and of course, later this week, and of course, latest next week, I'll have my official review for Dragon Ball Super Chapter 13 of the manga. Yes, the manga is officially out, and I'm here to review it, so definitely be on the lookout for it, because I can't wait to talk about the manga. But with that being said and done, let's get into this top 5 list. Now, of course, last time I gave you my top 5 worst list of the worst episodes of Dragon Ball Super Resurrection F Saga. I'm not a big fan of this saga, as I stated in that list. I think it's the worst saga that we've had thus far in Dragon Ball Super, and I just feel like, in general, Toei Animation's idea of serializing the movies and making a TV show out of them was just a bad idea. I feel like making just an entire show out of them was just stupid. I feel like the movies were brilliant and amazing as is, that it was just a dumb idea for them to do that. They did what they did. It really fucked up the canon, and it really fucked up a lot of things for us as fans who really supported those movies. But for the most part, they did what they did, and we can't really go back from here. Although I do support the Battle of God saga, because even though it wasn't the perfect beginning to a series, it was actually a pretty good, start to this show. There were some good episodes in there, and of course it's the beginning of this new kind of story, so I get it why they have to go that route. But for the most part, when it comes to the Frieza arc, I feel like there was no reason to do it. The movie is just one big fight. It's an action movie, and to make like 10 to 20 episodes out of fucking one fight just doesn't make any sense to me. It was just stupid. There was just, it's just missed opportunity amongst missed opportunity, plot holes central, and just a lot of retconning and unexplaining to things that we don't really understand from what we got in the movies. So I feel like on a writing standpoint, and just as a story standpoint, the Resurrection F Saga falls flat. It just got awful. However, today I'm going to give you my top 5 best episodes, so even though this is my least favorite saga in the entire series, there are certain episodes in there that are pretty enjoyable, are pretty good, and, are the best of the best. But of course, as always, my top 5 lists are subjective. It's my personal list, my personal thoughts. So of course, in the comment section below, let me know what your personal list is of the top 5 best episodes of the Resurrection F Saga. Now, of course, let's get into this list. Coming at number 5 has to go to episode 20. Warning from Jocko, Frieza and 1,000 soldiers are fast approaching. Now, this is the episode where Jocko comes into the picture. This is Jocko's legitimate, actual getting into the series. And even though when I first saw it, I wasn't a big fan of it, of course, in general, majority of the episodes that are on this list and most of the last list are not enjoyable first watching wise. But for the most part, episode 20, going back and checking it out, it is not as bad as I thought it would be. It is not as superior as the movie was. I feel like Jocko's introduction into the series in the movie was far superior. But for the most part, Jocko coming into the picture, explaining like what's happening, Frieza's coming. He's coming to destroy the Earth. He's coming to fight Goku. He's coming to warn, Bulma at Capsule Corp and whatever, and he meets up with Goten and Trunks, and hilarity ensues. It's just a funny little episode to get Jocko into the series, and also to have Goten and Trunks have some relevancy in the arc, because if you watch the movie, Goten and Trunks are actually very absent within the episode, and of course the movie itself. So it's kind of cool that they were able to get the two of them, or the three of them rather, into this whole episode and really do some kind of funny stuff. And of course, Jocko. Come on, Jocko is the best. I mean, I wish Toei Animation had a spin-off series just specifically about Jocko and his dealings, or at least make an adaptation of the Jocko one-shot manga that Akira Toriyama did, because it's pretty phenomenal if you haven't read it by now. But with that being said and done, moving off of that and going to number 4 on this list has to go to episode 17. Pan is born and Goku goes off on a training journey. Now, for the most part, Pan is born. This is actually the episode that really, of course, introduces Pan into the series, the canon series, and of course, majority of the episode is basically Goku having to deal with the fact that he's now a grandpa, has to take care of Pan. Nobody wants him to leave because he finds out that Vegeta's training on Beerus and Whis' planet, so he wants to go and train with them because that's just the kind of guy that he is, and hilarity ensues. Now, Let's put it out there. The animation is not perfect. However, there is a lot of funny things about this episode. There's a lot of things that go into the episode where when I first watched it, I thought, wow, this is not really that good of an episode. However, when I rewatch it now, it's actually not as bad as I thought, like a lot of the episodes that are on this list. I mean, Gohan and Hercule, like, playing around with Pan, like, just goofing on her and just becoming, Gohan gets in this great Sandman outfit and fights Hercule in this reenactment of, just having a great time babysitting and playing with the new baby of the series, which is Pan. And I thought that was just a really nice, enjoyable start to the episode. Chi-Chi comes in, she's the overprotective grandma who's, just completely bitching and going crazy off the wire because she wants Pan to grow up kind of like how Gohan did, minus the fighting and all that kind of crazy stuff, which realistically won't happen because, as we stated and seen in the future of Dragon Ball Z, she obviously won't be going into major battles. Or will she? Dragon Ball Super could change that. And of course, GT's not canon, so fuck it. But of course, then later in the second half of the episode, Goku wants to train, and of course he finds ways to get to Whis' planet, or Beerus' planet, without Chi-Chi knowing. And that's just hilarious. It's just funny. And plus Goku with a fucking iPhone, that's just funny. It's something that was unnecessary because, come on, this is the Dragon Ball world. We don't need to introduce technology that's in our real world, but it was still kind of funny and cool. But with that being said and done, and of course bothering Bulma, which is hilarious. Moving off of that, and going to number 3 on this list, has to go to episode 18. I've come to Training Begins on Beerus' planet. Of course, this is when Goku actually ends up on Beerus' planet to train, and of course, once again, hilarity ensues. Now, this is an actual episode that I really did enjoy when first watching, and it still holds up as a pretty good, awesome episode. It's pretty much Goku and Vegeta hanging out on Beerus' planet, training with Whis, trying to figure out what they can really achieve now that they've, I guess, become Super Saiyan gods, or at least Goku is, and of course, they want to become stronger. They want to become the best of the best. And of course, Vegeta has this little rivalry with Goku, and they have to do chores around Beerus' sleeping habits, and hilarity ensues, crazy shit goes down. Beerus is a terrible sleeper. They fucking train with Whis over these crazy conditions, and come on. This is just the first time we actually get Goku and Vegeta in a legitimate training session that never happened before. Goku and Vegeta have never really trained before in an actual canon story, and this is the first time we got to really witness what that could be, and it's pretty phenomenal. Granted, I wish they could have went farther with it in the second saga that I'll be talking about, but for the most part, it is pretty cool and enjoyable to see that, and it's just really funny. It's a really good, fun episode. Moving off of that, and going to number 2 on this list, has to go to episode 16, Vegeta becomes a pupil, take down Whis. Now, let's put it out there. This is hands down one of the best episodes of this saga, and it was really difficult for me to really decipher as to should it be number 2 or number 1, because it's so freaking good. It's Vegeta trying to become Whis' student, trying to get the Beerus' planet, very similar to episode 17, but a lot better. And as I stated previously, most episodes that center around Vegeta, for the most part, are actually the superior episodes of Super, and this one is a staple of that. This episode is basically defining that. It's Vegeta acting like a complete dumbass, a fucking schmuck, a fucking idiot, just to get Whis on a good note to get him to Beerus' planet for training purposes, so he can become stronger than Goku, because he's an asshole, and he wants to be stronger than Goku. Now that Goku's a god, Super Saiyan god rather, he doesn't want that. He wants to be stronger, and granted, we don't really get any more clarification as to how he becomes these multiple Super Saiyan transformations, but however, it's still funny how we got the transition as to how Vegeta ever got to Beerus' planet for training, along with Goku, and we got that with episode 16, in episode 17. But 16 is where it's at. I mean, Vegeta, his interactions with Bulma are priceless. Vegeta trying to just feed Whis with all these variant Earth foods, Earth-based foods, are freaking funny. And of course, come on. The chicken, the little chicken that comes out of the egg, come on. That's just funny. It's just awesome comedy right there, and I'm still waiting for Toei Animation to make a spin-off series of the adventures of Vegeta and Chip Chip, the little imitating chicken. I want that to happen. Would Toei Animation get up on that? You want more ratings for kids? You fucking make that series. You do a Jocko series, and then you have a Vegeta and Chip Chip fucking adventures. Or at least make a book of the tales of them just hanging out and doing stuff. I don't know. That's my idea for that. But for the most part, this episode is awesome, and it's hilarious. But moving off of that, I'm going to skip the honorable mentions because, once again, I don't like this saga. So, for the most part, most of these episodes are either on the previous list, so just check that out. But moving off that, going to number 1 on this list of the best episode of this saga, which is saying a lot considering, once again, I don't like this saga, has to go to episode 27, The Earth Explodes, a climatic Kamehameha. Yes, this is the end of the saga. This is Vegeta transforming to a Super Saiyan Blue, beating up Frieza. Of course, once again, the movie kind of does the same thing. Frieza gets the upper hand, destroys the planet, everyone dies. Whis time travels, does some kind of weird thingamajig with his staff, because, what the hell, I don't know his powers, but how they work, but he does it. Kamehameha up fucking Frieza's ass, he dies, day is saved, everyone hangs out at Capsule Corp while there's a sunset, because for some reason that has to happen in every fucking end to this fucking series. However, it's a pretty fucking damn good episode. The fucking epicness of Vegeta fighting Frieza is still awesome. It still doesn't make any sense to me that he's a Super Saiyan Blue or any of this kind of shit. I still feel like that's a stupid thing. But regardless of any of that, it's still so awesome to get that gratification of seeing Vegeta beat the shit out of Frieza. Of course, it plays out like the movie, but the superior thing that I enjoyed more out of the episode that is this, episode 27, in comparison to the movie, is that we got to see what everyone else was doing outside of Ground Zero of this battle between Goku, Vegeta, and of course Frieza. We got to see Chi-Chi with Pan. You know, we got to see Android 18 with Marin. We got to see, you know, what the hell everyone else was doing outside of this battlefield. And it was so freaking cool to see that. It was just some great moments of, this is the end. This is the destruction of the planet. This is the end of the planet Earth. And of course, everyone's dead outside of who's here right now. And it was just a great moment. It was such a really nice, beautiful moment. And of course, once again, it plays out a lot like the movie. I wish they could have done some certain changes, but for the most part, I did enjoy what happened in the movie as well. So, time traveling back a couple seconds, Goku defeats Frieza once and for all. He gets the final fucking tap on his ass. Kamehameha, like he should have done back in the Frieza saga in the original Z, and destroyed his ass for good. And of course, Frieza back on Hell, dealing with puppets and the Muppets. Fucking phenomenal. And that's pretty much the end of the Resurrection F saga, which is god-awful. I did not like it. It was terrible. However, these are the best episodes that I consider to be good, somewhat, and I actually enjoy them. Once again, episode 16, 17, 18, 20, and of course 27 are the best episodes out of the saga. But of course, if my list differs from yours, please, in the comment section below, let me know what your personal list is of the best episodes. And of course, next time, I'll be doing a worst and best list towards the Champa Universe 6 tournament arc. I definitely can't wait to do that, seeing as how we're going head-on with this new Future Trunks saga. But with that being said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below. Let me know what you personally think about what I had to say today. And of course, be on the lookout this week or possible early next week for my official review for the newest chapter of the Super manga. But with that being said and done, shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.